Good evening, welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Uzma Jafri. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Friday, the 5th of February. India's Agriculture Minister says farmers being misled, nothing wrong in farm laws. Opposition PDM announces Long March, joint participation in Pakistan's Senate elections. And will never allow extremism to rise again, says Sri Lankan president on Easter bombings. And now for all the details. India's Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar on Friday said in the Parliament that nothing is wrong in the new farm laws, but there is a problem in the ongoing farmers' protest as they are being misled. His comments were met with strong objections from the members of the opposition, who also criticized the government for erecting barricades at the protest sites resembling the Berlin Wall.
India's Agriculture Minister Narendra Singh Tomar, while speaking in the Parliament on Friday, asserted that there was nothing wrong in the new farm laws that liberalize agriculture sector, while blaming that the opposition was misleading and misinforming the farmers who have been protesting against the legislation since last November. Tomar reiterated that crop growers were being provoked, especially in opposition-ruled Punjab state. Taking a jibe at the opposition parties, he said he hasn't got an answer yet from them and farmer leaders on what's black in the laws, which are actually meant to bring better opportunities to farmers.
भारत सरकार किसी भी संशोधन के लिए तैयार है। इसके मायने ये नहीं लगाना चाहिए कि किसान कानून में कोई गलती है, लेकिन किसान आंदोलन पर है। पूरे एक राज्य में गलतफहमी का शिकार हैं लोग।
Tomar's comments were met with strong objections from members of the opposition who criticized the government for erecting huge barricades near the protest sites, which looked like the Berlin Wall, and also over the suspension of internet there. Meanwhile, the protesting farmers who have camped on capital New Delhi's borders have announced they will blockade roads in parts of India on Saturday, as they plan to intensify their months-long agitation against the laws, which they believe only benefit big corporations.
India's central bank kept rates steady at record low levels as expected on Friday and said it would maintain support for the economy's recovery from the pandemic by ensuring ample liquidity for markets to absorb a massive government borrowing program. The repo rate, RBI's key lending rate, was held at 4%, while the reverse repo rate, the borrowing rate, was left unchanged at 3.35%.
The Reserve Bank of India on Friday kept the repo rate, key lending rate and reverse repo rate, the key borrowing rate, unchanged at 4% and 3.35% respectively, while continuing the accommodative stance. The marginal standing facility rate and the bank rate too remain unchanged at 4.25%, said RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das after the three-day meeting of the Monetary Policy Committee MPC, which deliberated on the current and evolving macroeconomic and financial developments. The MPC has pegged real gross domestic product growth at 10.5% in 2021-22.
Going forward, the Indian economy is poised to move in only one direction, and that is upwards. It is our strong conviction, backed by forecasts, that in 21-22 we would undo the damage that COVID-19 has inflicted on the economy.
Meanwhile, Indian shares retreated from all-time highs on Friday after RBI kept interest rates at record lows. The Indian rupee strengthened to 72.94 against the dollar following the announcement. The RBI has already cut its interest rate by a total 115 basis points since March 2020 to revive growth and cushion the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. The health crisis is expected to trigger India's biggest annual economic contraction in decades, and high inflation remains a cause of concern. India has so far reported a total of 10,802,591 COVID-19 positive cases, with 12,408 new cases reported in the last 24 hours.
In news from Pakistan, the Pakistan Democratic Movement has announced a long march against Prime Minister Imran Khan-led government on March 26 and that the opposition parties in the PDM will contest the upcoming Senate elections jointly. The march is being seen as one of the major components of the opposition's anti-government movement, which began last year.
Pakistan Democratic Movement or PDM chief Maulana Fazlur Rahman, while addressing a press conference after a meeting of the anti-government alliance on Thursday, said the opposition parties have decided to participate in the Senate elections and for a long march towards Islamabad on March 26. According to local media reports, the long march will be termed Mehengai March, meaning March Against Inflation. The march is seen as one of the major components of the opposition's anti-Imran Khan movement, which began last year.
इजलास ने इस्लामाबाद की तरफ लॉन्ग मार्च का फैसला कर लिया है और इंशाअल्लाह अज़ीज़ 26 मार्च को पूरे मुल्क से लॉन्ग मार्च के काफ़िले इस्लामाबाद की तरफ रवाना होंगे। पीडीएम ने ये फैसला किया है कि सेनेट के इंतखाबात हम मुश्तरका तौर पर लड़ेंगे, उसके लिए मुश्तरका हिकमत अमली होगी और आपस में हम मुकाबला नहीं करेंगे, हमारे कैंडिडेट्स मुश्तरका होंगे।
The PDM is likely to decide about the Pakistan People's Party's suggestion to move a no-confidence motion against the Prime Minister Imran Khan, as well as about resigning from assemblies after the Senate elections.
In news from Nepal, the Supreme Court of Nepal has issued a show-cause notice in response to a writ petition filed against the controversial appointment of 32 officials to various constitutional bodies by Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli without a parliamentary hearing. The order has been issued in the name of the defendants, including the President's office and the Prime Minister's office, to explain the rationale behind the decision within 15 days. House of Representatives Speaker Agni Prasad Sapkota has also filed a writ petition against the appointments. The top court is also hearing more than a dozen petitions challenging the dissolution of parliament by Oli. Meanwhile, the Oli faction of the ruling Nepal Communist Party displayed a show of strength in capital Kathmandu on Friday. This is in response to rival Dahal Nepal faction's protest programs in the recent days against him for dissolving parliament and seeking fresh polls amid a pandemic-induced economic crisis. Moving on to news from Sri Lanka. Sri Lankan President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, while asserting that he will never allow extremism to raise its heads again in the country, said that he has received the final report of a panel probing the 2019 Easter Sunday blast and his government will bring the perpetrators to justice. Addressing the nation on the 73rd Independence Day on Thursday, Rajapaksa said he has already given instructions to implement the report's recommendations. At least 258 people were killed in a series of blasts carried out by local Islamist extremist group National Tawheed Jamaat in April 2019. The previous government, headed by President Maithripala Sirisena and Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, was blamed for its inability to prevent the attacks despite prior intelligence. Rajapaksa, a former defense chief, had stormed to victory in the November 2019 presidential polls, promising stringent security in the wake of the island's worst terror attack. In news from Afghanistan, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with Washington's Special Envoy for Afghanistan Reconciliation, Zalmay Khalilzad, and discussed the way forward in Afghanistan. This comes as no peace talks have been held between the Afghan government and the Taliban negotiators in Doha over the last 19 days.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken on Thursday informed he met with Washington's Special Envoy for Afghanistan Reconciliation, Zalmay Khalilzad, and discussed the way forward in Afghanistan. Blinken in a tweet said, Washington will continue to protect the U.S. against the threat of terrorism, achieving a just and durable political settlement in Afghanistan and cementing a permanent and comprehensive ceasefire. Khalilzad, who negotiated with the Taliban for 18 months to reach an agreement, has remained on his post under the new Joe Biden administration in the United States. Experts say that keeping the US envoy in place demonstrates the Biden team's initial commitment to maintaining adherence to the US-Taliban peace agreement until the new team reviews it in detail. This comes as no meeting has been held between the Afghan government and the Taliban negotiators in Doha over the last 19 days.
Chess has already grown more popular recently as people pursued it as a hobby at home while under siege from the coronavirus pandemic. But in Afghanistan, chess playing has been considered a sport for men. However, Zehra Ibrahim from the city of Mazar-e-Sharif has been determined to promote the culture of chess playing among women in the country.
The COVID-19 related quarantines have not restricted the life of Zahra Ibrahimi in Afghanistan's northern Mazar-e-Sharif city as she beat her isolated quarantine life and encouraged girls to learn chess in the relatively peaceful city. The Chess Federation in Mazar-e-Sharif city, capital of Northern Balkh province, has welcomed Ibrahimi's initiative and supported anyone who is interested to learn the game. Playing chess in Afghanistan has been regarded as a mental sport for men. So Ibrahimi is determined to promote the culture of chess playing among women and encourage them to attend the local tournaments.
بازی ورزش شطرنج یک ورزشی است که بیشتر مردانه تلقی میشه. در افغانستان ما میخوایم میره بین خانم‌ها مروج بسازیم و بیشتر خانمایی که یاد دارن اما در مسابقات اشتراک نمیکنن بیشتر در خانه‌ها تمرین میکنن. ما میخوایم اونا بیاین در مسابقات اشتراک کنن و بیشتر همین ورزش بین بانوان تعریف.
همچنین برنامه‌های احساس خیلی خوبی رو به انسان میده، احساس خوشی، احساس مسرت، احساس برد برای کسی که برنده میشه در مسابقه و همچنان تاثیر خیلی زیاد روی روحیه جوانان و دختر خانمایی که اینجا اشتراک کرده.
According to Ibrahimi, apart from being bored staying indoors due to COVID restrictions, some women also face domestic violence and psychological problems. So she opened the door for them to attend the training class and kill time amid the pandemic.
In a first, a cricket championship was organized on snow in Srinagar city of India's Jammu and Kashmir, providing an opportunity to the youngsters to play the sport even in winters.
In a first, a cricket tournament on snow was organized in Srinagar city in India's Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir this week. Organized by the J&K Super 7 Cricket Association, the tournament saw many young players take part who were usually forced to sit at home due to the harsh winters. The tournament also gave them an opportunity to come out and showcase their skills. The participants expressed their hope with this tournament many other winter games will also be introduced in the future.
Limited hours का और जल्दी खत्म होने का ये है. ठंड भी नहीं लग सकती है वरना 20 आवर्स या 50 आवर्स का मैच नहीं रखा है 7-7 आवर्स का रखा है बहुत अच्छी इनिशिएटिव है.
The players later got awards for participation in the match and the winner team also got a cup. Once dubbed as the Switzerland of the East, Kashmir is considered one of the most popular tourist destinations in India. It is also famous for adventure sports like ice skating, skiing, gliding and racing.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude the top stories once again. India's Agriculture Minister says farmers being misled, nothing wrong in farm laws. Opposition PDM announces long march, joint participation in Pakistan's Senate elections. And will never allow extremism to rise again, says Sri Lankan president on Easter bombings. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time next week. Have a great weekend. Good night.